Welcome to the Evening Review. My name is Okahandja, and joining us virtually is Willem Veiko from Okahandja, who is here to speak about the residents' opposition to Redforce being allowed to collect debt in that town. Welcome to the Evening Review, Willem. Welcome to the
No,
Evening
thank you
Review.
for having me. Thank you.
Um, there was recently, a month ago or so, there
Thank you
was a
very much.
petition, and then recently again you wrote to the CEO expressing your concern about Redforce's involvement with the municipality. Just take us through the whole chain of events in terms of why you are opposed to Redforce and why you think the municipality has contracted them.
I think, as speaking on behalf of the residents, we are not opposed to Red Force as an organization on its own. We are basically just opposed to how Red Force came into practice within Okahandja. The residents feel there was no consultation done, and therefore how Red Force is engaging the residents and how they're doing their practices was not a thing that they approved or were consulted about, and therefore as affected households, they feel they cannot have Red Force come and close their waters while they do not have any agreements with Red Force, but they have their agreements with the municipality.
Okay, so can you outline perhaps some of these, some of the tactics that have been employed by Red Force that residents have not taken kindly to?
Basically, especially most of the affected households are pensioners, and they are not learned in terms of knowing exactly to go about with their bill payments and payment plans. They are called into the office, come with your identification documents, and when you arrive, you are being told that this is the amount of money you need to pay. Sign the documentation. If you do not sign the documentation, then your water will be closed until you come and agree to the terms that they have put up.
And then outside of this, as concerned residents, what have you done to sort of try and ensure that residents themselves, albeit pensioners or just normal working people, are able to reach a sort of an agreement with the municipality?
There was a call from the municipality where they did announce that there is going to be prepaid water meters installed in especially the pensioners' households. So that idea was welcomed with open hands to say that would be able to minimize the debt that is being incurred by the pensioners and the people who are not able to pay their debt. With that, there is then a agreement that will be put in place to say 80-20 payment plan, whereby 80% would be going to your current expense, and then the 20% will be paying off the long-term debt. Then that was the idea initially, and therefore, as residents right now, that is what we have been fighting for. That is what we want to be implemented by the municipality, so that the people can have water meters installed in their house, so that the old debt then can sort of be at the standstill, and then they work out the payment plan to try and play catch up with that debt.
And then, what has the municipality's response been to what you've put forward?
At this stage, really, they created a committee called the Zone Representative Committee, that they expect then the committee to be the link that will liaise with community and then the municipality. So with this committee, we are hoping that we are able to come to the table and come to agreements with the municipality, where we are finding solutions that can also benefit the municipality and the residents at the same time.
Mm. And then, have you at least had any interactions, informal or formal, with the top brass of the municipality to just sort of find a way forward with regards to the issues that are facing residents at the moment?
We have had a few engagements with the CEO, with the mayor, and we have informed them of what the residents are saying, their cries and their plights, and then their responses are always they are ready to listen, they are ready to work with the community and really find a solution that can benefit the community as well. So at this point in time, I think that challenge was just that they jumped the gun and they went ahead and already signed the agreement with Redforce. So without the consultation of the community, and then now, as speaking on behalf of the community, we are like, okay, since you already went ahead and signed that agreement, let's find a way. Let's find a way to sit at the same table and then be able to still work together as the community and as the municipality. So the prepaid water meters has been the only answer that we can come to now for now.
And then in terms of service delivery by the municipality, do you think that they are fulfilling their mandate?
I think the municipality was with an idea of a small town. So with their service delivery at this point in time is at the rate of a small town and not a growing town. And then they did not take into account the amount of expansion that Okahandja has accrued. So in the past 5 years or so, the number of new residents or new inhabitants in Okahandja has dramatically increased, that requiring then double the amount of refuse and service delivery that they need to be able to give to the residents, which has been the challenge at this point in time. I think they are still working on old waste management plans, old systems, old plans that were put in place in the olden days. And therefore, those systems at this point in time are not working. And that is why we're trying to come to the table with the municipality to try and find solutions that will be able to benefit the current number of residents that we have.
Recently, we learned that Okahandja had experienced a power outage for probably more than a day or close to a day. How upsetting was that whole process? And do you think that the excuses that were given through are sufficient enough for the inconvenience?
I think the power outage, it's a very tricky situation based on the excuse that then it's said, then it's an electrical situation whereby you can't even say, okay, they must have backup transformers as it's a matter of expense then. But in terms of the communication with the residents, I think it was not enough and they were not being as clear. But that again is just a matter of them also not knowing what was the actual problem until at a later stage when they discovered it was the transformers. I think the only challenge was, or the only upsetting thing from the residents was that they were communicating wrong times to say that the situation will be solved at a particular time, and then it does not happen as exactly like that. So that is very upsetting to be expecting power or a service, and then you do not get it at the time that you were promised.
There are more questions that I would like us to get on to, but I would kindly like to ask for your indulgence as we go for a short break.
This is Africa. Good morning.
My name is Aina Raizakaya alongside Diana Mustard.
In the ANC conference in December. So starting off with the cycling.
Africa, good morning. Do have a lovely
Minister Monica Mchangwa has said that
With the soccer, the English Premier League continued, the biggest game being...
On that note, it is all our love, all our light.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
we are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with the entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news. Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Welcome back to the evening review. Willem, I want to know, Okahandja was always known as the garden town, and recently one will not see the town being associated with that title anymore. As residents, what are you doing to restore the town's status to its former glory?
Recently, there is an organization called Okahandja Action Force, of which I am the chairperson. And what we are doing, or one of the mottos of Okahandja Action Force, is called to restore the dignity of our town. So at this point in time, we are basically really trying to have as much community initiatives as possible to try and just uplift the environment that we live in. And this coming weekend, we actually have a cleanup campaign where we're encouraging the whole town to be involved in the cleanup. We are going to start from the informal settlements, Vergenoeg, and then cleaning up until Oshetu, where we will have a short educational session on recycling initiatives, on waste management, and then hopefully we would start a culture of then being able to always clean up after owning the environment and encourage the municipality to also do their part in terms of cleaning up.
What part is municipality, would you say, is municipality doing in trying to restore the town to its former glory in terms of refuse removal? Because I've noticed that in your petition, you did at length voice your displeasure.
I think the challenge was basically having that one municipal truck that every time when it breaks down, that issue, the whole refuse removal is at a standstill in the town. There is no backland. So that is just a matter of revising the waste management plan to always have backups and to make sure that if in cases of increased number of waste, what do we do as a municipality? What are the alternatives that we can do? What are the alternatives we can visit? And implement programs where community can be involved in the program, happily be able to assist the municipality in making sure that the waste is always collected on time. So recently they started using their small pickup bakkies. That is good, but it's still not good enough. The bakkies are only walking around the former areas of the town, and the informal settlement ends up being left out. We can upload, but it's not enough. We still need more, especially in the informal areas.
And then issues around restoring the flora and fauna, for looking at how the town had been known as being a garden town. What initiatives are residents undertaking?
At this point in time, really, we are just encouraging residents to have small gardens, initiatives of planting trees. We're actually supposed to have tree planting as well this coming weekend, but we have put that on hold for another day. But that is one of the main ideas, is also to have tree planting initiatives to beautify the town with some flowers and beautiful succulent plants that will be able to just restore it to how it used to be.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Evening Review.
No, thank you for having me.
That wraps up the Thursday edition of the Evening Review. Good night.